All right, and welcome back to On Location. Definitely appreciate you watching, and if you haven't done this already, make sure you're subscribed to the channel and hit that like button because I know you're going to like what you're going to see here a lot. So over the next couple of weeks, what we're going to do is we're going to visit a place in kind of north-central New Mexico called Bandelier National Monument. And basically what happened there was an ancient people that used to live there. They called them the Pueblo people. They didn't really know their name because Pueblo in Spanish just means basically the townspeople. And they lived in this particular area between about 1100 to 1500 AD, so not super old. Eventually they headed a little bit further down south towards Albuquerque to the center of the state, and they diversified off into the tribes that exist in New Mexico today. But let me take you to these ancient ruins here, and I think you're going to find it really, really interesting if you haven't been to a place like this before. So I've got some pictures here on my phone. We'll flash them up there on the screen. And I did take all these, by the way. This is not some just historical record. It is about photography as well. But this first one here really shows you kind of what this area looks like, at least this part of the park that we visited. And you see there's obviously the river there in the foreground where they obviously got their nourishment and things like that. And if you see off in the distance there, those are those volcanic cliffs and hills. And inside there are actually different caves, different little enclaves there where they used to live and work. And also right along there, they built some structures as well, which we'll see. So let me go ahead and give you a little bit more of a zoom in look there. You can see these little holes there in the wall. Now that is a result primarily of volcanic activity, although there are some larger ones. I'm unsure whether or not they actually may have tunneled some of that out a little bit, or if that's a result from all volcanic stuff. But we'll get in there and we'll see a little bit more closely. And I'll just, we can throw some more of those particular images up there as well. It's a kind of a very interesting texture as well that you see right there. That's, something a little bit unusual, something that I haven't seen before that was really, really cool. Now, what we're going to see here next, these are actually some of the stone structures, or at least what remains of them. And I think the National Park Service has gone and refurbished some of these a little bit here. But you can see there the walls, and this particular shot here, this is called a Kiva, and they would have done a number of things. This would have been covered back in the day, and there might be religious services that go on in there, but it could also just be basically, you could sleep there, you could eat there. It was used for a wide variety of purposes there. So, there's kind of how the town works there. And again, I just want to keep showing you these rocks and all these little holes in there. This particular one, you can get kind of a perspective here because you have the tree there in the foreground showing the rocks. That's kind of what you would see there as you're right up close. And it actually does provide quite a bit of protection from the sun, which definitely on the days I was there was definitely appreciated and was a big help there. So it makes sense why they would settle in this particular area. Now, moving up into those lava tubes there that are exposed, they actually get pretty big in this particular area. You see how almost there's different little rooms there. And again, I'm not sure if this was completely done by the lava or not, or if they did some chiseling or both, what have you. But you get some really cool little views up there, but it's very, very cool. And that is definitely an advantage there. I imagine it may keep you even warm in the winter as well. You could run some fires in there. And I think actually some areas they did run fires because you saw some black smoke there on the top of these particular little rooms there. So really cool stuff. Now I'm going to show you this next one, and this is actually more of a natural feature, but I just love the texture of it. This is really from a purely photographic standpoint that I decided to throw it in the video. You kind of see that tree there in the bottom there of the image, and these beautiful textures just going up the side there of the particular lava cliff. And if you're out there, look for that kind of stuff. Those patterns in the rocks. Don't just necessarily focus on the buildings or the ancient sites, because there's a lot out there. Remember, these people picked this area for a reason before the buildings were even constructed. So something to look at there. Now, there are, of course, and you saw some remnants there at the beginning, there are, of course, some buildings that they constructed there as well. And here are some of the remnants of these particular buildings there. Again, they've tried to restore somewhat there, but, these were probably pretty decent sized structures here. And we'll kind of zoom in. This is one of my favorite shots right here. And these are very complicated. You know, thousands of people used to live in this particular area. And this particular one just kind of looks like an ancient site. It's, you know, I imagine you open up the pages of National Geographic. This is the first time someone's been there, and there's the picture. That kind of reminds me of this particular shot right here. So love that little cloud there in the background to provide a little bit of perspective there. So I thought that was a pretty cool shot. Now, one thing too, you notice those patterns there on the rock face. There were also some petroglyphs, or basically stories, pictures that were put into the walls. And we're going to be seeing more of that probably next week as we go into some other areas of the park. But you'll see a little preview here. It could be a story, could be religious significance. A lot of people just don't know. But I'll go ahead and flash these couple images there across the screen. I mean, some of these here, I'll try and zoom in on my phone while you look as well. You know, you see kind of these, I don't know if it's sort of a tribal signal, sign or something like that. Probably some animals, there's some plants in there. You know, it's a great thing to just go and contemplate and see what you think there. So, again, that is the main area there of Bandelier National Monument. There's a main area, and then a very interesting kind of a side section, which we'll go into next week. So that is our short little video today of Bandelier, and I really do hope you enjoyed this particular one. Stick around, because there's going to be a lot more. Make sure you like the video, subscribe, because, you know, we're here every week, and sometimes it could be a historic site, it could just be a walk around the neighborhood. You never know what you're going to get here. So make sure you subscribe. You can see down there below, we've got Facebook, Instagram if you want to look at the pictures. So a lot to see there. So definitely appreciate you watching on location, and you have a good one. Bye-bye.